very important to reach out for help, not just like mental health professionals, but even talking to a trusted family and friends about how you're feeling. When you talk about how you're feeling, not only does it help you, but it also helps others because you're modeling being vulnerable and sharing how you're feeling. It's okay to say this sucks. This is really difficult. I'm finding it very hard. During lockdowns, there's greater likelihood for people to be eating poorly, drinking excessively, using substances to cope, especially when we're not able to socialize as much or the way we used to. People's sleep patterns getting disrupted, and also now the gym's closed, it's going to be so much more harder for people to find ways to be physically active. All of these behaviors can have a negative impact on one's mental well-being. So keeping tabs on how much you're drinking and how you're eating and when you're sleeping, very important, and trying to develop a routine that's simple and easy to execute. One of the biggest issues are people come up with a great plan and they can't execute it because it's too difficult and too different from what they usually do. If they're not used to working out in the morning because they did it after work, it's hard to implement. Keep it simple and easy to execute. A 10-minute workout every day is better than just an hour once a week. And am I connecting enough with people as well, whether it be virtually or by phone? At the end of the day, the most important thing to do is prioritize your self-care as much as possible. You can't help others until you take care of yourself. And if you take better care of yourself, you'll be more resilient to the effects of the lockdowns on our mental well-being. At every lockdown, they're progressively feeling what psychologists refer to as learned helplessness. Learned helplessness refers to when what we're doing to make a particular outcome happen isn't working. We've gave up a lot in previous lockdowns. We followed the rules. We canceled a lot of events and travel plans, yet it feels as if we're still at square one, stage 2 lockdown, and not being able to go to a restaurant or a bar or a gym. It's really hard. And what happens is with learned helplessness is people feel like there's no point in trying. They really find themselves unmotivated, low self-esteem, depressed, and anxious. However, if one can focus on positive coping mechanisms, they can minimize the impact of learned helplessness on their mood. And what coping mechanisms we've already talked about is taking care of your physical self, as well as finding other ways to cope, particularly places where you feel like you have a greater sense of control. You don't have control over opening the restaurants and the gyms and a lot of things. What you do have control over is how you live your life, how you care for yourself. You have control over personal projects that you might have. Maybe you need to reorganize your space better. Maybe there's a painting or a book that you want to work on. Now would be a good time to focus your energy on those much more than you have previously. See this as an opportunity to improve your own self-care and improve other aspects of your life that you've been wanting to and couldn't because you just didn't have the time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our Narcity channel to see more great content.